Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Purpose Fridays from the Power of Purpose with Sherry, friends, and family. Glad to have you all with us again. And we say TGIPF, right? Joining us again today, we have the one and only Sherry Watson. And we have a special guest joining us also, Ryan Downey. Hi, guys.
Hey, happy Friday.
Happy Friday,
Well,
guys.
hello. Hi.
I'm so glad to have you on with us. We have a uh, great little content training for you today. We're going to be talking with Ryan exclusively about our mentoring program, what the great things our students are doing, as well as Ryan has a sneak peek for you what we're going to be talking about with our nonprofit university students and mentoring students on the 4 pillars of building a nonprofit for success. So, Ryan, Mom, why don't you guys go ahead and take us away?
Hey, well, first of all, I want to welcome everyone. And I love Purpose Fridays. How awesome is that to have a happy hour with a purpose and to have fun and to enjoy and the journey. You guys, I want to start out with a quote. I'm reading a wonderful book called Thrive by Ariana Huffington. I very much recommend it. You know, each week I'm talking about different books. I'm immersing myself in just making a difference, a positive outlook. We listen to motivational videos in the morning. God, that makes such a difference. I really would really want you guys to try that on your journey. And the book I said last week I was reading is Inner Voice with Russ Whitney. And one of our mentoring students is also reading that and talked about the impact in his life. So each week I thought it'd be great. And you guys share some of the motivational videos, some of the books. What are you doing that's impacting your life in a positive way? Share that with us at the end of our time together. Let's share on our Purpose Fridays how to go into the weekend. So, Ryan and Derek, I really love this quote. It's on giving. It says, I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy. So I want to congratulate all of you for taking your happy hour on a Friday to spend with us because you're taking that next step. So this afternoon, you know, each Friday we bring on different family, friends, and we've introduced Ryan, our Director of Mentoring for the Power Purpose. Those of you that are new with us, this afternoon we want to really spend our Purpose Friday talking about the nonprofit as a business model and how Ryan, as a young entrepreneur, started his career leading an affordable housing development company as a nonprofit corporation. Who better to hear from and learn from, get wisdom and bits of expertise from, than someone who's walked the walk for many years, built subdivisions, thousands of homes for people who had not had the opportunity in the American dream to have their own home. Single moms, veterans, people with disabilities. And I got to walk hand in hand, side by side with Ryan as I led my nonprofit into empowering people with disabilities to live a life of freedom, to be able to afford all the beautiful opportunities that every other American has. And I partnered with Ryan and we brought affordable housing to our community. We brought the conversation in a big way. Ryan and I sent out invitations. We we didn't have political power. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had purpose. We were passionate about what we were doing because it was fulfilling our purpose. And so we sent out an invitation and said, we all need to come together. No more of this, everybody holding on to their own little turf, a little pot of money for homeless shelters, for all the different housing projects. Let's come together and really build a new paradigm. So Ryan and I sent a letter out to county commissioners, city councilors, state legislators, community development directors, developers, contractors. We just put the word out. And I think Ryan and I were surprised when we walked into the room and we provided lunch. That's a big key. Bring food. And we had, what, Ryan, 50 people or more sitting around the table. And what a powerful launch to get that kind of brain power together with their expertise, with funding sources, with the passion to bring new opportunities into our community. So Ryan, when I found out years later, ran into his mom, and first thing was, wow, what's Ryan doing? I can't wait to hear. And she said, well, he's finished a lot of his affordable housing development, and he wants to do something with even more impact. And I said, give me his phone number. We brought Ryan in to lead our projects in the real estate arena. Ryan has leveraged funding from USDA, from the state housing agencies. He got a national award, I believe, from EPA. I watched Ryan just at a ribbon cutting that I went to, and some of you've heard this. I was able to watch the mayor and state agency directors and all of them, the Chamber of Commerce redcoats, and I'll be at the ribbon cutting of a subdivision. And I watched that ribbon being cut, and Ryan handed out keys to a single mom, to a veteran. They walked into a home they had sweat equity in. Ryan never did a handout, he did a hand up. They had provided sweat equity for months. They had helped build this. They built a community helping each other. Now they walked into a home with payments they could afford, with the financial literacy training and budgeting that went along with it so that they maintained their home, and also $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 of equity already in their homes. It was one of the most powerful experiences I had with a nonprofit affordable housing developer. So to have the gratitude we have to have Ryan on our team, and now to have him lead as a director of mentoring, he's walked the walk for many years. So Ryan, so grateful to have you with us. And before you go into what's going on with students and that, I know you built your business model, and he built his nonprofit as a very profitable business that made a major impact. He built it around a business model. So Ryan, can you share the pillars, the business model? And I know you're going to go into a lot more depth on our Nonprofit University webinars, but I'd love for those who are new with this, those who are just taking that first step to be part of the giving that really leads to financial significance, financial freedom, where you're doing what you love and being paid for it. Lead them through that, Ryan, how that you personally did it, and then we can talk about some of our students, because as they know, throughout the next few weeks, we're going to be bringing many of our mentoring students on one by one and let them talk about their projects and where they're going.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Well, guys, I'm so grateful to be on with you guys today, and as always, it's always a pleasure to get to do what we do. And Sherry, I will say this, that she was the first girl that ever got my phone number from my mom that things really ever worked out. So we're stuck together. we we are stuck together, and we've worked together on different different capacities. Our paths have crossed numerous times, and what we found was that really we had and shared the same values for success and the same passion for lives to help other people. And what we realize is that we have come together with an amazing team to share that with other people. And really what we are is a little bit of a shot of steroids, to people that have purpose, or people that have found their purpose and have decided to do something with that. I know this about the crowd today, that folks here have come here because there's something inside of them that is calling them to do something awesome. I love that word, awesome, because we all have this thing inside of us, and some of us choose to go towards that and do something, or some of us don't. And so I applaud you guys for being here today and listening in, and I'm hopeful that there is an opportunity for us to meet down the road and potentially even work together. We find it a great privilege to work with people and help them to get to the next level, to take their passions and take their purposes and make them a reality. And so a little bit about what I wanted to share today, without going into great detail. I just wanted to kind of give folks an idea of what it is that we teach, what it is that we do, what drives us, and really what drove our charities forward and made them successful. Simply put, was just a different mindset. A lot of people go into starting a charity, and they put their charity hat on and they take their business hat off. And one thing that Sherry and I realized, right away, was that this is a business, and it has to be formed and it has to be ran like a business. And so, one of the things that I'm going to be going over in the next few weeks in Nonprofit University, it's a really simple way to create a business model for your charity, or really for your corporation, your nonprofit corporation, that will launch you into a place of success. And I'll back up a little bit. I want to give you guys a little bit of a background as to why I created this. I'm a very, let's say, I barely made it through high school. I'm going to brag a little bit here. I barely made it through high school, but really by the skin of my back. And I, in college, if it weren't for audiobooks and cute girls that were smart in my classes to help me out, I would have never made it through college. And then I got into a business school and realized that I really loved and enjoyed business. And I understood it, and I appreciated marketing, I appreciated economics, I appreciated accounting, and all the while, going to college, I got really fell into an opportunity to get into service. I fell into an opportunity to serve as an AmeriCorps volunteer just by dumb luck. It wasn't intentional, but I was at the right place. Actually, I was walking with a friend, and he was going to sign up to become an AmeriCorps volunteer, and they had me apply, and I got the position, and he didn't. And so it's just dumb luck, but it thrusted me into a world where I saw things that really it placed in me a value of service over a value of making a lot of money. And so what I decided to do right after graduation was to mix the two, and that was to follow and pursue a career of service, but I was really dedicated to creating a business. I wasn't the smartest apple, in the bucket, but I will tell you this: I did have passion, I did have desire, and I was fearless. I look back at being 22, 23 years old and launching a nonprofit, and even now I think there's a little bit of fear in me now. Just thinking back about that, I can't lie and say that I don't have a little bit of anxiety thinking about the task that was ahead. But I knew this. I was married, and I told my wife, I said, if I can't make this thing work in 6 months, I'll do something else. I'll sell insurance, or I'll do something. And I know people that are with us today are really kind of at a crossroads as well. And so I'm here to help provide you with a little bit of hope that if a dumb 23-year-old college kid, or just graduated college kid that was wet behind the ears, can go put something together, that everyone can. And so I had 6 months, and so I knew a couple things. I couldn't reinvent the wheel. I didn't have a lot of time to try to reinvent the wheel, and I wanted to make I knew if I wanted to raise the kind of money that I had to make this nonprofit work, I had to be an expert in affordable housing. I had to know more about affordable housing than the guy next to me, and I had never built a house in my life. And so, here I am, and so I just went out and as Sherry and the rest of our team teaches, we connected, and I built relationships with people. I bought people more Starbucks coffee in a 6-month window. I didn't make any money, and I was buying people coffee and donuts and all kinds of stuff, and sitting in people's offices till noon every day, and really just picking people's brain. I had a general contractor friend, and I sat in his house, every day for a week, learning the ins and outs of building a home, and connecting me with different subcontractors. I really found out the types of funding that I needed, early on, and in that process, I created a really, really, really simple tool to help me establish a business model for my company, and it was based on 4 pillars, and I really just focused. It helped me create a laser-focused approach to building that business in a way that it wasn't. It produced a very intentional action plan for me, and it helped me to, I have to categorize things into really simple categories. I am a Division I college football ref, and for me, I've got to simplify the rule book and understand the principles and the philosophies, and understand the spirit and the nature of those rules. And so I break it down into really simple categories. And I did the same thing, for launching, this nonprofit. And in short time, I was able to use this tool, this 4 pillars, if you will, of my business model, which created my future strategic business plan moving forward. But it helped me to do it in 6 months. And we were able to raise, $2.5 million to, some of that was in grants and some of that was in low interest loans for the families that we were building for. But it really launched us forward. And we did hit our, 6 months in, we broke ground on our first 6 homes, and the rest is history. Now I'm 10 years later standing in front of you guys talking about that. And so what I want to share on our nonprofit university course over the next a week or two, We might even break it up into 3 sections. But I want to break down the 4 pillars that you know, very, very simple. It's nothing super sexy. It's just a very simple concept, but it'll help as you consider launching a nonprofit, or if you've already launched a nonprofit, or even if you already have an existing nonprofit and you have your tax exempt status and you're kind of, you know, floundering around. This is a model that you can put in place, and you can take a day or two to really reorganize into this model, reorganize under these 4 pillars, and immediately you're going to have an action plan, because what it's going to magnify to you are the areas that you're weak. Okay, and people don't spend a lot of time focusing naturally, right? Subconsciously even. People don't spend a lot of time building their business on the things that they're weakest at. They focus on the things that they're best at. If they're better at marketing, well, then they're always out marketing. Okay, if they're better at writing grants or, you know, doing the accounting side of things, then they're going to focus on that, and the marketing is going to be weak. And what this did for me is it forced me to focus on the area of the business that I was weakest at. And I didn't have time to complain about it or talk myself out of that or procrastinate. I didn't have any of that, any time for that. I might as well quit that day if I did. And so what it produced was, go ahead.
Brian, I want to reiterate what you're saying. I want them to hear this again. You talked about nonprofit and a business model. You guys hang on to that nonprofit business model. It's ran as a business. And Ryan, you just kind of skimmed over it, but I just want everyone to hear, within 6 months, you had how much? 2.5 million, 2.3 million?
Yeah, we had $2.5 million dollars committed to the project, and that was a combination of administrative grants and low interest loans for new construction of these 20 homes.
And you guys, I think one of the words that Ryan said throughout that is fearless. He went into this fearless, believing, having faith, knowing. And Ryan, I just wanted to add in a few things as people are listening, and I know you're here for a reason. Like Ryan said, either you have a nonprofit, you're thinking about it, you're curious about it as a business model. There's a chapter, Ryan, in the book I'm reading, Thrive, that I wanted to take a paragraph. It emphasizes everything you're saying, Ryan, of why we need to step up. It says, we are in the midst of multiple crises. Ryan, you stepped up because there was no affordable housing. You stepped up because of the need. I stepped up because folks with disabilities had no place in this country, in this world. Okay, so we're in the midst of multiple crises right now. You guys, the biggest opportunity is in front of us. Because of the crisis, we have to change that paradigm, whether it's healthcare, whether it's housing, whether it's veterans, seniors. So she goes on to say we're economic, environmental, social, and we cannot wait for a leader to ride in on a white horse to save us. We all need to find the leader in the mirror and take the steps needed to make a difference, both in our own communities and at the other end of the world. What makes service so powerful is that its benefits go both ways. So Ryan, lead us into the 4 pillars you're talking about, the power that is. But personally, after you built your business on this and used that model, what was it like for you at the ribbon cutting I was at as you handed out the keys as far as service going both ways?
Oh no, that's great. That's great. I just got goose. It's so funny. This is gonna sound girly or weird or whatever, but right when you said that, I got goosebumps just thinking back to that first ribbon cutting ceremony, because at 23 years old, it was kind of the culmination, of a lot of work, and it was just kind of like, it was so impactful. It's kind of like, somebody, working, for years to get a championship belt in boxing, and they finally get it. It's like, it was like a rush of emotion, and to see the impact that was made on those people's lives. And so I'll say this, I'll back up. To start with, for me, when it came to the 4 pillars, and when it came to the business, and when it came to the business model, it was a mindset change for me. I wouldn't say it was a mindset change. I had a different mindset, and looking back on it, that's what made this program successful. And I didn't have a mindset that was focused on the money. And I think that is, if you can write anything down right now, that's key in this whole process. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're, building a house, or if you're starting a for-profit, starting a nonprofit, if you're in a relationship with a person it's a mindset change, right? And what happens is I knew that the money would be a result of what I built, not the cause of it. Okay, and so what people do is when they're building a business, for profit or nonprofit, is they chase the money so hard that they forget about the business. And what happened for me was the exact opposite. I focused so hard on the business, okay, and creating a model that was fundable, and the money came in. And that coupled with the building and establishing relationships with the people that had money, and with all the key resources, right? People, partnerships, and funding. Okay, I spent a lot of time connecting with people, and building those, building up the relationships and the business model at the same time. Okay. The other thing, as we plow forward into that, that I want to make sure that is clear, is that I want to go back to not putting your focus on the money. And the other thing that drove me in that process was, every day that went by, there were people out there that weren't getting the service that I intended to provide. And that drove me, that motivated me. When other people, were talking about and whining about, I just didn't have time for whiners. I didn't have time for complaining. I didn't have time to feel sorry for myself. I didn't have time if someone told me no, or someone told me, if friends and family told me as a horrific idea. I didn't have time for that. I knew it, because I was committed, and I believed it was going to be, and there was no one more passionate. I knew this, and people around me knew this. There was no one more passionate about getting this thing done than me. And so I turned that into just a laser focus. And so I built the 4 pillars. I'll just give you an overview of what those 4 areas are. And again, it's not rocket science. It's not this, this super, sexy, business plan format. It's just simply this: breaking your business down into 4 areas that you can focus on independently, but you understand how they function together. The first one is your programs and their related business models. Okay? The first thought behind every program is, how is that program, how does the money flow through that program? Okay, is it sustainable? Write that word down and keep that at the forefront. And it's for the same thing for for-profit. Okay? Sustainable. Is this sustainable? Am I dependent upon donations and grants? And if so, you need to rethink it, and you need to redesign it, and you need to create that business model. Okay, how is this going to be sustainable over the long haul? What is the business here? Okay, if this program Is it sustainable? Do I have another program in my charity that can sustain it? Okay, so think through your programs, think through the business models, and make sure they're sustainable. The second pillar, or the second, so the second column would be your participants, your program participants. Who is it that you're going to serve? What is the need? Okay, and go out and figure that out. Figure out how you're going to get people in to your organization. Okay, what relationships do you have to build? What partnerships? Do you have referral sources? Do you have a waiting list of people? Did you do a community meeting and you've already got a waiting list of people? That needs to be ironed out. That needs to be detailed, whether you're just thinking about it, about starting this charity, or whether you've already have an existing charity. Those things, to be funded, to be fundable, you got to have an ironclad understanding of the people that you want to serve, and you need to know the local need. You don't need to know the 2010 census tract data. You need to know the actual need. Okay, a real quick example of that. When Sherry and I first met with the affordable housing group in our area, it was a disaster. It was a joke. It was a group of people. It was a room filled with depressed, whiny, problem-based charities. And all they whined about was they didn't have funding, they didn't have this, they didn't have that, they didn't have this. And I said, do you guys know what the need is? How many people are homeless? And a lot of them are homeless housing groups. And it was a simple question. What is the need? How many people are turned away every single night? That's a real simple question that we as a community should know. They didn't. And that's what I'm talking about, is go find the need. Go figure it out. Get up, get out, take action. Okay? The third pillar is your resources. What are the resources that it takes to get this done? The people, the champions of your cause, okay, who are they? What's the nature of your relationship? Who do you need to still go out and build as a champion for your cause? What about partnerships, other groups, other organizations that you can partner with that complement you and you complement them? And funding. Okay, who are all your funders? Okay, and as you connect with other programs around the country that do what you want to do, they will let you know these are the types of funding that you need to have. Okay, and the fourth pillar is real estate. I don't care what kind of a nonprofit you are, what kind of a charity, or what kind of business that you want to run. You got to understand how real estate is going to play a role and impact your organization. Okay, if you're a horse rescue, okay, where are you gonna sign up? Where are you gonna go? Okay, if you're doing a mixed use. You got to know, you got to understand that real estate. You got to know how you're going to get it. You've got to even have it under site control in a lot of cases before you can get funded. And so you've got to have a good feel for the availability and understanding that real estate. If you just, it may simply be you need an office, okay? Then you need to have that figured out. You need to have that locked down. And so what happens is, if you categorize your business into these four areas, at least when you're trying to just ramp up really quickly, you categorize in these four areas, and then you focus on one of those areas at a time, and it doesn't feel so overwhelming. It doesn't feel like you're so scatterbrained. It just puts it all into a neat little box that you can go, okay, today I'm going to focus on my programs. The next day I'm going to focus on the participants and build relationships with potential partnerships. And the next day I'm going to call a bunch of funding. And what happens is you find out where you're the weakest and you attack that area. And so that's the basics, of the four pillars. And then to answer the last part of your question, Sherry, the first time we came together for a ribbon cutting, I was probably 24 years old, and And it was a very, it took a lot to get to that point, and it was one of the top, probably 3 or 4 most influential moments in my life. You know, children being born, weddings, you know, and that was right up there. It changed my life. It changed the course and the nature of what I valued most. And to see the impact of the kids and the single moms, literally, that sweat and bled and cried to fight to get a brand new home for their family. It was incredible. It was so impacting, I mean, I'll never forget that. So yeah, it felt really well. It felt really good, and you know, never looked back, you know, from that moment on.
And as we talked about you coming on this morning, and the books I've been reading this morning, watched a motivational video with some of the team. It was Bob Proctor, and Bob was talking about success and the real meaning of success, and went back to the original definition. And success is moving toward what you're going to be doing. You're successful. You guys are successful right now, getting on this call, letting those wheels turn. You know, you use so many analogies. You think the success is getting that huge nonprofit set up with 40 employees and 400 contracts. No, success is visioning that and taking that first step to make it happen. You're successful. So Ryan, everything you've just talked about, as we move into taking that next step, this book I've been reading this week called Thrive, there's something very interesting that aligns, Ryan, with what you just said. Go-getters are good. Go-givers are better. And you guys, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you the best wisdom, the smartest conversations, because none of it's my own. It's all, I just keep myself entrenched and involved in reading the Arianna Huffington and reading Russ Whitney and reading philosophers from AD and Einstein. So I can full-heartedly, with full confidence, tell you I'm giving you the best. And I got this today from Bob Proctor. He said, I give you the best, I deliver the best, because it's not my own stuff. So I want to read you on this. Imagine how our culture, how our lives will change when we begin valuing go-givers as much as we value go-getters, you know, those who climb the corporate ladders. Social entrepreneurs are classic go-givers. They build their work on the foundation of adding value to people's lives. Another book I've been reading, very interesting, it really went into the whole history of the term social entrepreneur and where it came from. Bill Drayton came up with that term. He described individuals who combine practical gifts of a business entrepreneur with the compassionate goals of a social reformer. He came up with the term as a college student after taking a trip to India to witness a man, his name is, I'm probably going to butcher it, Vinoba Bhave, lead the effort to peacefully redistribute 7 million acres of land across India to the most destitute compatriots. Today, Drayton leads Ashoka, the largest network of social entrepreneurs in the world. So look how he became a go-giver. He coined the term social entrepreneur, and he kept moving forward and now leads the largest network in the world. Derek and I have had the honor of being at Sundance Film Festival and meeting with some of the leaders of Sundance Film Institute who introduced us to those within the Skoll Foundation. Well, the Skoll Foundation, Skoll, is really at the forefront of investing in social entrepreneurs around the globe, rethinking. You guys, this is what we keep saying, rethinking how we carry out business, construct, hold our government accountable, tap and replenish natural resources, how we survive and thrive together. So as we talk about the nonprofit sector being the social conscience, and you heard how Ryan took it and brought incredible solutions to our community for the investors who made greater returns on their investment, for the city and county who now were receiving taxes, and for our community that had people that became taxpayers, and most of all, for the folks that walked in as their first-time homeowners with pride and control of their life and destiny. And what it did for Ryan when he talked about the girly thing, Ryan, that's not either. That's a powerful thing to get goosebumps and be emotional. That's what this is about. And so I want you guys to see how deep what Ryan is talking about. There's never been a better time in this country to be launching, to be expanding, to be growing a nonprofit corporation. Our country, especially the whole world, but our country is in such dire straits. When we heard Brandon, one of our purpose consultants, come on, who's a young military veteran, served 5 years for us in Fallujah and all over. And when he talks about 22 veterans a day commit suicide, that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. And when I'm reading in this book this week, and it says that listen to this, the percentage of children living in low-income families was 37% in 2000, which is unacceptable. 2011 is over 45%. I know in New Mexico, now what was it, Derek? We were looking at hunger, and our Department of Health is doing a whole big blitz on it. 3 in 5 kids go to bed hungry. We can no longer wait for the man or woman on the white horse to ride in. We're the ones that are stepping up, bringing you tools, resources, knowledge, bits of wisdom, everything we can to give you the tools to step forward. So Ryan, I want to first of all acknowledge you and being in such a place of gratitude. You guys, all of us, all of you on this call, wake up with gratitude. We are so blessed to have what we do, to have the families, to have the financial resources, to have the time to go and spend with those we love. Now to take that a step further and be the go-giver to help those that are less fortunate so that we lift us all up. So Ryan, and you guys now, come on. Now this is Purpose Friday. Ryan, when I first aligned with him, he had the #1 philosophy that we did, so we knew if it's not fun, we're not doing it. You know, we've always had fun. Ryan and I have laughed and had more fun together with our nonprofit corporations than I've ever had. And so this morning, when we were talking about, okay, you know, we've already introduced Ryan. A lot of you are new, so, you know, kind of mapping out things. And Ryan said, well, you know, go ahead and take 2 to 5 minutes to kind of talk about my history, or you can take 2 to 25 minutes, you know, if you want to brag some more. And so you guys got to have fun along this journey. But I tell you what, we are so passionate, and it's the passion that fuels you. When you become passionate about what you're doing, that fulfills your purpose. So, man, and who was it the other day that told us, you guys, light yourself on fire and everybody will come to watch you burn. You know, get on fire, be on fire for what you're doing, and people come joining in.
That's an
So
awesome, awesome.
every week, and you know what we'd love to do too, Derek, when you start taking Q&A now, we'd love to have folks start being a part of what they want to hear about. We've got so many speakers lined up. We've got mentoring students that are going to be coming on. We've got past mentoring students that are going to talk about how the project is excelled and the great impact and the great financial picture they have now in front of them because of their nonprofit. We've got Dave Meltzer, Warren Moon that we've talked to. We've got Humanitarian Radio. You've got to check that out. We're doing our radio interview August 16th. So go to humanitarianradio.com. Tony is really spreading music through a very, very positive, and that's what Humanitarian Radio is about. They're going to be coming on, him and Janie. Man, talk about purpose-driven individuals and them getting on our website. Tony, we were getting ready for the interview, and I did my due diligence with them, and when I got on the phone, he said, wow, I've been reading your blogs, I went on your website, I watched Nonprofit Web Class. He said, you know, for 30 years, I left Hollywood, the big, you know, MTV scene, to do positive music. And he said that Humanitarian Radio, and he said going in on the USO tours, spending 3 different tours, going to Kuwait, to Tent City with 600 tents in the middle of a desert. Nothing has empowered me more and my group more than reaching out and seeing the power of our music and how it touches lives. Remember that service works 2 ways. Goes into prisons with his music, goes in, and by him connecting with us and Janie and just immersing themselves in the tools and what we have, he said it ignited him. It lit that spark. That spark grew into a flame, and we're now helping them set up a nonprofit. So they'll be coming on one of our shows with us. So let Derek know, give him input. What would help you? What would guide you? What kind of input? What kind of knowledge? What kind of insight? I'll be bringing some of my leaders in from the disability movement that led in the creation and passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act, that led in the creation of the first nonprofit that led into 800 nonprofits around the country, that we actually set up a national organization to connect all 800 centers together. We built a movement by building systems. We built a movement by living the E-Myth, by working on the business, not in the business. We set up systems. What Ryan told you today and led us through was we led our nonprofits as a business. Those 4 pillars, Ryan, that you're going to expand on are such a valuable tool in getting folks on the fast track. Like you said, you can't procrastinate. You can't get caught up in life and that 8 to 6, you're clocking in for someone else, or you're working 2 jobs, or you know, you got to take that step forward. And Ryan, I so appreciate the information you gave today, and more than that, I appreciate the leadership that you're providing and bringing projects all over this country and world to a higher level, to expand their mission, to serve more people, to bring them financial resources personally so they take care of them and their family, so they can make more of an impact. So thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to to do to do what we do.
It is. We are so blessed. We are so, you guys, we stay on fire all the time. So just hang around with us. We're always on fire. So Derek, I know we've got you guys, we've got like every week we tell you there's so much happening, but Derek and Ryan are leading in the charitable giving of real estate, and we spent some time last week, Ryan, going over that as an opportunity to help fund nonprofits. It's only available as funding to a nonprofit, and so we spent some time, Ryan. What they've done now is they have a focus group, an inner circle with our top mentoring students. Folks are getting calls every day. I know Ryan and Derek and Chase are on calls every single day with donors. One gentleman has a portfolio of 150 plus homes right now that they're meeting with, and he's now transferring wealth. So what a fantastic way for him to help transfer wealth at the same time leave a legacy. So I know you guys have got a lot going on, and we have a call at 2:15 with another group. So Derek, let's open it up for Q&A and continue moving this forward each Friday and have fun together. Enjoy it. Laugh with us. I wouldn't say enjoy our humor, but Ryan and Derek, I'm not sure our humor is always I can't even find the word. Our humor is always what other people appreciate.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's out there.
Yeah, we stay silly. We stay silly.
Well, real quick, forget the questions. I know some have come in, and we'll go ahead and open up right now. So go ahead and submit your questions on your control panel. Just type those up and hit send, and we'll get them answered. Ryan, just real quick, just so we have it once again, everybody can hear. Just quickly restate those 4 pillars again, that just kind of summarize it.
Sure. The first category is your programs with their business models. The second category is your program participants, and these are the people that you're going to serve. The third is your resources, and that's people, partnerships, and funding. And the fourth is real estate, and everything that you need to know and understand about the real estate that you're going to need and use inside of your organization.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Okay, so kind of a cool comment real quick, just might be some synergy here. This is coming from Anna. It says, this sounds exactly like what I want to do here in Hawaii regarding the housing, that it's so needed here. And as you know, one of our new really superstar mentoring students, Uma, is also in Hawaii. So we'll have to see if you guys can link up if you have a lot of synergy there on what you want to do.
Awesome.
And Derek, that's perfect, you guys, because Ryan working with Uma, and they're getting ready to do a board meeting. I can't wait to meet her team. And Ryan's helping lead her through the phases, step by step. We have a systematically, since we've all lived in this world, me longer than a lot of you been around, right? So we won't say my age, but Uma's building a healing center, health and healing center. And so how this is how it works. In the nonprofit world, we collaborate. In the for-profit, we compete, right? They're your competition. In your nonprofit, we all come together and see how we can help each other and make a bigger impact. So with her healing center and you providing housing, just think of that synergy there with people coming in to really heal and go through complementary medicines and a different way of feeling and have housing on top of that. So just kind of remember, there is no box with us. So we don't think outside the box. We get rid of that box. So Anna, thank you, because that just gives us a way to now tell you guys, remember, It's about collaborating. That's how we build movements and really create the kind of paradigm shift in our communities. That's what Ryan and I did together.
Okay, that's great. Real quick question from Helene. Just some. She's talking about the response time regarding mentoring application submission. If some of you have submitted mentoring applications, that's something that our organization actually reviews very diligently. So we're very, very thorough with that. We have them come in every day before proceeding forward with next steps into acceptance from the program. So I just sent you a little message back, more on that front. So that will answer that for you. Timothy again, we do community outreach to the Hispanic community in Wichita. Currently based in a fellowship hall in a church, we would like to become a training center to help churches reach out to the multicultural mix. So we need help getting to the next step. So I guess, Timothy, the first step would be if you're in outreach, if you're already are you a nonprofit existing right now, or are you looking to set one up? That'd probably be the first question we would, or first information we need to know from you.
Yeah, and I love you're in Wichita. That's where my dad, they were raised in around Greensburg in a little tiny town called Mullenville. But if you're from Kansas, you know. But I had a lot of family.
Is it Wichita, Texas, or Kansas?
Kansas, yeah, Wichita, Kansas, or Texas.
Okay.
Well, we'll have him see what he let us know.
Hey.
Okay, they're working through churches, nonprofit, and yes, in Kansas.
I wouldn't talk about Wichita if it was Texas. Come on. Those Dallas Cowboys don't rate my book, so let's not go there.
Here we go. Uma says hello, and yes, definitely need affordable housing here. So real quick.
Hey, back to the Wichita, Kansas. I'm Derek. Oh, just want to tell what you should. We're working with another mentoring student in Kansas. I've been doing a lot of work, and one of my greatest advocate leaders in the disability movement is in Kansas. So have a lot of roots and ties there. Go look at your faith-based initiative. If you're working through the churches, and if it's not your nonprofit, if it's the churches, there's a faith-based initiative. Call the governor's office and find out who oversees that. And you might, if it's not your own nonprofit, right now I'm in the middle of, we accepted a new mentoring student who's a pastor and does such great things in their church. Everything from food banks to backpacks on Fridays for kids, to be able to take food home for the weekend, to really great things. So, but we are setting up a separate nonprofit that will work with the church instead of trying to do it through the church. So we're right in the middle of that right now. So that might be something you want to look at, Tim.
And again, as far as taking it to the next level, you know, and really what we talked about today is really vital, and really thinking through the business model behind what you want to do, you know, and really understanding how what you want to do it can be a sustainable operation. And so really think through, you know, those 4 areas that we discussed today, and start to organize your thoughts, you know, around that, and you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed at how quickly it immediately creates an action plan for you to move to the next level. It'll get you out there connecting and setting up appointments to talk to people, and before you know it, you know, you just file everything under one of those 4 categories of your business, and before you know it, you're going to be, you know, you're going to be at the next level. You won't even think twice about it.
Yeah.
Next up from Charles Peterson. Hey, Charles.
Hey, Charles.
Charles,
Charles.
Charles,
Oh man, it brings the biggest smile to my face for happy hour. Charles, give Sonia a big hug for us too.
Charles asked, do you assist with reviewing or know of anyone that could be of help in the Colorado Springs area for a nonprofit business plan development?
Well,
That's an interesting. Well, that's an interesting one, and Charles, I'll personally call you with that answer.
aha, sounds like there's some connections going on there.
Timothy, just with a quick follow-up, said he'd love to do that. They have received a small grant through the Kansas Health Foundation.
Oh, awesome.
Wow, great job. They were actually came to one of our last live event in Orlando in December a couple years ago. So that's great.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, we'll see. See, there's some synergy, just like with Anna and Uma in Hawaii on that front. If looking to get in contact with our people there in Kansas.
Perfect.
Great. That's awesome. It's too bad we're not on CAM. For getting a grant from going through our training, getting a grant from the Kansas Health Foundation. They're doing a lot of great stuff out there. We actually just posted some news articles about what they're doing. They got a big clean water initiative going, and they got some medical assistance going. They got some great stuff going out there. So that's a great funder to work with. So we'll have to get on cam next time so we can get you guys doing the happy dance for somebody when they get
Oh,
funding like this.
man. Hey, Dirk, we'll tell him what really happened at like 5 till 1 when the webinar was starting. We've been on the phone all morning, man. We've got just amazing things happening. And I ran into the office like the Seinfeld Kramer guy, ran in, I told Derek, oh my gosh, I forgot to put makeup on and comb my hair. I haven't even combed my hair yet, you guys. So I said, I am not doing the webcam today. So, it's happy hour. We got to just tell all the fun stuff.
Speaking of Kramer, she looked a little like Kramer. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, no, don't disappoint him like that. If you saw me now, that would be a real bad thing for him.
Right.
But I tell you what, it's great having granddaughter here because I'm running around frantic and saying that, and she goes, "Oh, you look beautiful no matter what. You don't need makeup."
That's what I'm saying too. Yeah.
No, but I'm not. You girls know. You girls know what I mean. You would not go to happy hour with your hair not combed and no makeup. You girls know.
No. This next question comes from Natty. Great name. For those of you that know Natty in our office.
Yeah.
But Natty asks, does every state have a different faith-based initiative? What is the purpose of it? How do I find out more about the faith-based initiative in California?
Yeah, I love the story behind this. And you know me, those of you that have been on a little bit, I love stories. That's how I teach. But it was when President Bush was running for president, one of his campaign promises was that he was going to level the playing field for churches, for faith-based, and for nonprofits, right? And so, his first day in office, his executive order was a faith-based initiative. And what that did is set up a faith-based office in every federal agency. So like USDA, HUD, faith-based. And what followed after that, we did an annual conference every year. And that's where his last year of 8 years, we went to the conference in DC at the Omni, and we got all these letters under the door saying, the streets are going to be closed off, and so we knew something. And at lunchtime, I was sitting on the very front, like I love to do, be part of and in walked President Bush. And he gave the keynote speech of what this last 8 years had meant to him as personally leading in the faith-based initiative for nonprofits and churches. And that's where the quote we came up with saying, we are the warriors in the army of compassion. So what happened during that time, the states set up state faith-based initiative offices. I think we had 38, 39 states. When I worked with one of our mentoring students in California, who is a pastor who led an amazing church in Bakersfield, we went to Sacramento. And at that time, this was probably 2-3 years ago, Sacramento had a faith-based initiative office, but they hadn't hired anybody to lead it. So I would definitely get with your legislator, find out who represents your area you live in, and call them. Many of the California Assemblymen and women have offices locally. A lot of them have offices in their den. You can call them and just sit down with them. Tell them what you're doing, who you are, what your passion is, and that you want to know who's leading the faith-based initiative office. Because when we brought that to the forefront, that wow, that position had not been filled and yet it was funded, they were even offered, one of our mentoring students, the pastor, they even offered him the position. So they had some pressure on them knowing that they needed to fill it. Again, it's the work of the advocate. You're the voice. You're the constituent. You hire and fire these assembly people, right? Because we vote them in. And you pay their salaries, right? Because our taxes. So go meet with them and come back and report to us, and we can all come together as a group and help take this further. You guys, all of you in different states should find out who oversees your faith-based initiative office. Some of them are housed in the governor's office. In Indiana, I went to the office in Indianapolis, but the governor's office helped open that door and connected us with the director and stuff. So call the governor's office and that'll lead you down the path.
Okay, I think we have gone through all of our questions for today.
Woo.
I think we got
All right.
everything answered. So I want to thank you guys again for joining us again on Purpose Friday. Give a quick shout out to all of our superstar mentoring students on with us tonight. Just always love highlighting you guys and the great stuff you're doing along with everyone else. Anisha, Charles, Leo, Uma, and Phyllis. And we also want to take just a quick moment for everyone to send some positive energy and a quick thought and prayer to Phyllis, who lost her sister the day before yesterday. So our thoughts go out to you, Phyllis, and your family.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so sorry to hear about that, Phyllis.
Yes, thank you guys. All the great comments coming in too, Phyllis. So you bet.
Wow.
Well, thank you guys all again for joining us again. Ryan, thanks again for giving us a sneak peek of your 4 pillars. So those of you that are NPU, Nonprofit University students, also mentoring students, you're about to get some great stuff on our Thursday trainings through Nonprofit University on those 4 pillars in depth. So great stuff as part of our next course, Course 150. So we'll see all of you again next Thursday evening. And then for everyone else, always join us for Purpose Happy Hour on Fridays.
And Derek, I want to end us with a quote and something to really lift up this weekend and to really put thought into it. And next Friday when we connect, we're going to open up with where people are with this. It says, so find your place to stand, your place of wisdom in peace and strength. And from that place, remake the world in your own image, according to your own definition of success, so that all of us can thrive and live our lives with more grace, more joy, more compassion, more gratitude, and yes, of all, more love. So you guys, this week and ponder, spend time thinking about where your place to stand is. And we're here with you. We'll be here with you every Friday. We've got other tools and resources. We want to be a part of your success and watching you grow and thrive. So Derek and Ryan, thank you so much for being part of this. And most of all, you guys, thanks for taking your happy hour with us. This is so much fun for us.
All right, enough talking. Enough talking. Go out and do something.
Yeah. Woo! Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye now.
Have a great weekend, everyone. See you in the next one.